Whoa. Yeah. We're here. Back at the desk. Back on my bullshit. Yeah, sure. Why not? What are we going to talk about today? I'm going to try and think of some things to actually talk about. And, it's as if saying this will magically populate some kind of topic in my brain. Now I got nothing. But that's okay. I often have nothing. And I make something work. I don't know. Nobody knows. There's 3 people watching. That's okay. We do have a new... Oh, I almost got it. I almost got the point. Oh. Astro? Astro. Matt. Dude. Good weekend to you. Your 92 is in the assembly process, or do we say process? I guess it depends on where you are geographically. Yeah, so I think just before, maybe the space between Christmas and New Year, we had some 92s come back from paint. So those will be part of the first things that get finished in the new year, and that's cool. We're happy about that. So there you go. What an exciting time. I know I had to, I usually like order parts and stuff before something goes out to paint. I always forget something. So yeah, we got all the parts. So we'll be wrapping that up. I gotta try and figure out some sort of comfortable sitting kind of thing today, because we're a little cranky. Yeah, so that is good. It looks bitchin'. So, but soon you won't have to take my word for it, and that's just something we can all be glad about. Let's see. What did we do during this time? Now, I don't remember if we did one of these last Saturday. I guess maybe I can look. I feel like we didn't, but we may have. Do you hear that? That's Liz Lemon sneezing. Liz Lemon is a sneezy little cat. Yeah, that's, if you heard that, you heard Liz Lemon sneezing. We did do this last week. Okay, so I've scrolled through, and so I wasn't going to start going through the, what do we do during Christmas and blah, blah, blah. Or, you know what? Maybe I will. I got nothing to talk about. Other than Matt's guitar is almost done. Neil, hello to you. Are you just finishing up at work? Hank, good morning to you. Antonio, good morning to you. John, good morning to you. This past week, I do what I call angry cleaned. Angry cleaned the shop. So like, everything gets super, super, super dusty. Super, super dusty. Super, super, super dusty. Like it's like everywhere. Like to the point where like like when I print shipping labels, like using the heat printer, like dust collects on the labels, even though I'm printing stuff constantly, and like it jacks up the printing. So I'm wasting labels constantly. So like I took everything apart in the office, like, and it just blew everything out with the air compressor. I opened up like the door into the back of the shop. I mean, not into to outside, and they had like Beyonce, the big fan that we have, just cranking, just trying to blow this shit out of there. Yeah, so like I spent like all day on just the office, and that was like, it was good. I enjoyed it in a sense, and but and it was like and the desk that we use for like wiring and assembly and stuff. We have like little boxes, like pickup boxes or little things that we use to like hold little parts that are just filled with like screws or like miscellaneous stuff, and I went through and like put away screws, like specific screws, like, okay, this is a tall humbucking ring mount screw that goes there, and just all that stuff. We had some parts come in, so I got to allocate parts. That's kind of fun. Labeled pickups because that's important. What else? So anyway, stuff like that. I vacuumed walls. Yeah, it was good. And then did that till everything. And then so, and then there's just like some housekeepy stuff. Like there's fixtures that I wanted to make, and fixtures that I specifically make to need to do to make it easier for others to like get body blanks on the CNC where they're supposed to be. We haven't had that problem, but it's one of those things where it's like, I know how to do it, and why is that something that's just kept in my head? So we have like one fixture, but what I wanted to do is like, it's this clear acrylic fixture. It's got a center line and some cross lines and two holes. And these two holes are, kind of put these on a body blank, and you put some doinks in these holes, and then you drill them out, and then it gets them in the right spot on the table, so you don't accidentally put something in the wrong spot, and then all of a sudden your body blank is too small for the thing you're trying to make. Because we do run into that, because there are some models that are on the larger side, so we have to plan that out. And I realized that it would be super beneficial to make those sorts of things, but then have like the body shape like etched into it, so you don't necessarily have to rely specifically on measuring the blank in a certain manner that I came up with, and So, they've got the body etched on them. So you could just kind of put this thing on a body blank. And if you need to kind of scoot it over one way or another, if it's something that's going to get painted or whatever, or I mean, even if it isn't, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. So I had to make those up and just some other CAD stuff. There's just, stuff like that, just kind of housekeeping stuff. So that was kind of like all this past week. I didn't, I wanted to make sure that, it was really difficult for me to like not do guitar work while I'm there. And so, and it was especially like towards the end of the week when like everything was pretty much, there's just like some odds and ends that need to be taken care of. And quite frankly, there's one little table that still needs to be taken care of, but like, it's fine. But it was really tough to not like, oh, like, okay, I gotta oil that neck. Although I did oil one neck. But there's a couple more that I still have to that I didn't because I gotta logo and clear cut those headstocks. So, which means I gotta check the weather because I gotta probably do that this week before it gets cold. What else? So yeah, it is oftentimes difficult for me to stay focused on a specific task and not try and do like 7 things at once. And I think probably everybody's like that. But damn it, I did it. Mm-hmm. Gavin, good morning to you. Greetings from Wisconsin. Go Bears. Snowing like crazy. I'm kind of in the mood for like a big snowstorm today. Right? Like it's kind of one of those kind of days where where you do this, where you pull your neck into your shoulders. This doesn't look weird at all. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I could kind of use a big snowstorm. I mean, it's not going to happen here. We haven't had one of those in a while. Rob. Yeah, the pickup tins. Yeah, I'm glad that you like them. I'm glad that I appreciate that. Thank you for your pickup order. Did you know that you can buy Sully Guitars pickups? Did you know that you should buy Sully Guitars pickups? Did you know that most Sully Guitars pickups they probably cost less than most other pickups that are made here by people that know what they're doing? Now, granted, I don't have a huge stash of stuff on hand. Everything's made to order, so not necessarily lightning fast shipping, but they're really good. Rob ordered a Jardinier with an Alnico 8 magnet in it, which we haven't done. We usually do Alnico 5s, but that's one thing too. Like we will do magnet swaps and stuff for people. 2s and 4s and whatever. I haven't really done any ceramics. I used to really like ceramic pickups. There was a discussion in the Sully Guitars discussion group. It's not just the conspiracy series discussion group anymore. I used to use like the Duncan Custom. That was like my jam. I mean, I know that I've talked about this. Actually, maybe even like on the last, one of the more recent one of these things. And the Duncan Custom has a ceramic 5 magnet in it. And that's one thing that I don't know, like I didn't know until I kind of got a little bit more into, making these things and the process of them. I knew that there were, different Alnico magnets. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Maybe there's not a 6 or a 7, which is kind of interesting. But the same thing goes for ceramic. The most commonly, my understanding, and this is loose, so grain of salt me. My understanding is that most pickups that use a ceramic bar type magnet, is the word I'm looking for. It's usually a ceramic 5. But so ceramic 5s are what's in the Duncan Custom. Now the Custom 5, before people go, "Whoa," is an Alnico 5. There's a ceramic 5, Alnico 5, ceramic 5, Alnico 5. And then there's a custom, which is just a Duncan Custom with an Alnico 2 magnet. They say put that in, for brighter sounding guitars, because an Alnico 2 magnet is a little warmer sounding. I don't really like the Alnico 2 magnets as much, though. It's not a scientific kind of thing, but I've noticed that in pickups, I don't know, I kind of prefer a 5, which is a little bit more articulate, just like me. But I do like the 8s. The 8s are fun. So we have a new guest here. Let me move my coffee out of it. This thing, it'll kill your neighbors. Like, not from a volume kind of, like it'll if you put it on the red channel, it will come to life. It will politely leave your house, and then it will go murder your entire neighborhood. And then it comes back, and then you can play some more. So what that means is that there are a lot of houses for sale around me. Little fixer-uppers. There's some extra cleanup needed because this murdered everyone in the neighborhood. But it's going to be okay. So there's that. Yeah. Ooh, we are having some people show up and say some things. So let's recognize that. Okay. Michael, you finally made a BWS. Welcome. Good morning from Detroit. Good morning to Detroit. Ooh, you have a snowstorm coming tonight. Snowstorm coming tonight, everybody get down. Have some chatter. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hang on. Neil, happy birthday to you. And look who's traveling. Hank is coming to Texas. Well, that's exciting. Let's talk about that for a minute. If you are in, around, or planning to be near the Dallas-Fort Worth area on the 13th, and why wouldn't you? You have to go to see the Mr. Big show at the factory. I wasn't going to go. I saw that they were coming. I don't know. Good times. But you know what changed my mind? A little conversation I had with young Adam Nanias, who laid on a little thing to me. Told me that he's going to be opening. So that's a good show, and it's in a venue that I know he has wanted to play in, and it's happening, and I'm really excited about that. So that's happening. And so Hank is coming to Texas just for that. That's really nice. That's really nice. It's really nice. Good morning, Sean. How are you? How is your shoulder rehab? Army rehab? Like arm stuff? I hope you're doing. doing. Are you going to unveil anything new at NAMM this year? Well, in a sense, yes. I will say that the guitars that I will have on display in the boutique guitar showcase in the Sully guitars section, they are a nice representation of what we do. There will be some shiny, pretty stuff. There'll be some not so shiny, not necessarily pretty, but still kind of gorgeous stuff. I'm not just talking about me. And yeah, so like, and you know, is there going to be a new model that you haven't seen yet at the show? No. Are there guitars that are going to be in with some different looks, meaning different colors? Some maybe kicked up a notcho. Yes. Will I? The big question is: will I lose my voice on the first or second day? I'm going to do my best not to do that. Yes. Oh, the dirty knobs. Well, dirty knobs. Are you displaying at NAMM, or do you think the show is over as we know it? That's a. I don't. Well, okay. So yes, as mentioned, I will be there. I didn't go to the 2022 show. The 2021 shows did not exist. Although maybe there was a summer. I think it was canceled. Oh, it's fine. The last one I attended was 4 years ago, January 2020. And I saw it like in my Facebook memories that the today, 4 years ago, was when I shared the Concorde, the first one with you, and it's hanging in the other room. I could show it to you. You want to see it? It's bitching. It's really cool. I'll go get it. Talk amongst yourselves. So yeah, this little guy is 4 years old. There we go. There's a glare. Oh, so shiny. Can't handle the shine. If you can't handle me at my shiniest, you can't handle me at my glimmeriest. I don't know. Yeah, so this little guy is apparently 4 years old today. That's cool. Yeah, it's pretty bitchin'. Want to see? It's got a little raised. See, it's subtle. It's subtle, like the letter B in the word subtle. But this top is arched. You can see it more kind of here. And then see how thin that is. See how that is. See? Yeah. So this one, Champagne Sparkle, is a color I never get sick of. And it can be a little tough to photograph because sometimes it goes silver. I mean, it is a gold, but it's pale. It's a pale gold. So, yeah. So yeah, this made its NAMM debut 4 years ago, and yeah, nice. Let's see. So, do I think that I go back and forth with it as far as thinking if NAMM is worth it? So, what I had done in the past is like Perry and I used to share a booth. Um, and then I got my own, and then we were neighbors. And that's kind of what we had done for the last few that we both attended. We're not doing that this year. I will be under the Boutique Guitar Showcase umbrella, as it were. I thought that I would try that. Just to see, because, do I think the show is over as we know it? No. I don't. Do I think it will be do I think it's going to be like it used to be? No. I don't. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I guess I don't have to have an opinion on whether or not that's a good or bad thing, because it's just that it just is. Doesn't have to be good or bad. I think that you can probably make the argument that because a lot of the larger manufacturers aren't there anymore, that it's kind of pointless. You could also say that the people that do go, they've probably then already got all of their major manufacturer stuff, like, Fender, Gibson, and whatever. They've already got that part of their business sorted, because you can order that stuff. At least I know Fender has a portal, and you can order that stuff online for dealers. And so there's the argument of like, well, the people that are there are people that are qualified leads, I guess you could say, and maybe that's true. I hope that's true, because while in the past NAMM has been a good time, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of energy. And it's a lot of noise, quite frankly. So one of the things that I'm happy about being in the Boutique Guitar Showcase is that that section is always quieter. And I know that because I'm friends with the people who run the BGS, and often would go into their booth to say hello, because I had some friends that were part of that and displaying in there. But they would also they have an espresso machine, so it's like, hey, you want some espresso? I'm like, yeah, I do, I really do, I want some now. But then it would also just be quiet, and I like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be like. It is set up and tear down is going to be a lot easier, because I can bring like just a handful of guitars, and not a dozen to 20 or whatever. It's a table, so all I really need are stands. I've got that sorted, and that's great. So setup and teardown will be a breeze, and that's cool. So my main focus in being there, a lot of up until this point, my thought was, I would like to add some dealers. If some come by and want to talk, and I'm happy to have those conversations. And it's nice for the existing dealers that I have to come by and say, oh, I'd like that one and that one and that one, maybe, so that's nice. But overall, I think the point of it is kind of been like a commercial for the brand, so to speak. Kind of like, hey, I'm here. We make these things. These are nice. Some people tell me. But so going to this show, it certainly will be an aspect of that. Like, hey, I'm over here now. I'm still here. but I'm going to be more, we're in a better position to fulfill dealer orders and things like that now than than we had been in the past. So that's really my focus, is growth and seeing what we can accomplish there. Um, I do my best not to get my hopes up because you don't really want to get your hopes up and then have them dashed. Uh, and, I'd say there's a good chance of, who knows? That's just it. Who knows? Nobody knows. It's one of life's unknowable mysteries right now. Um, but I am going to go. We'll see if it's worth it. Um, just from the uh, ease of setup and, um, not having to rent a van and fill it and drive 2 days each way. Um, and really, we were kind of gone for almost 2 weeks, the way that we had done it in the past, and so this time it's going to be a little bit lighter. It's going to just be me, and so we'll see how it goes. I hope that answers your question. I hope you're still around to see it. Let's see. Raj, good morning to you. Sean says eights are great. Chris says good morning to everyone. Everyone say good morning to Chris. Rodrigo says sup, Sullyville. Oh, yes. So the Astro, yes, it has a clean channel. It does. It's a 3-channel amp. The Astro is, and it has, it's got a clean channel. It's got a, little bit of a dirt channel, and then it's got a fuck you and anyone that looks like you channel, which that's kind of where I stay. Yeah, I really like it. Used to have a Mesa Blue Angel that would change the haircut of everyone in the front row of the bar. Nice. Something that keeps the neighborhood polite. That's right. That's right. Oh, you got balcony seats. Nice seats, Mr. Lincoln. Let's see. Love to see Adam playing there and then enjoying some pizza. I could do with all the pot smell, though. That's not legal in Dallas. Oh, that was that one weekend. Yeah, I don't. I think that was just an unfortunate weekend that we happened to be downtown. It's not to say that it isn't all over, but it was. It was definitely a thing. Good morning to Derek. You like the Dragon Burst? Yeah. So John specced out a really bitchin' thing, or we were talking about that. I think I just blew your secret, but not completely. Champagne in a burst would be sick. I don't know how we would do it because so there's a Shoreline Gold base coat, and then the flake that goes on is like champagne in color. So I guess, one way to do it, there's a million ways you can do it. I don't know, like what color would you burst it to? Let's talk about that. What color would you introduce with this? So, I guess you could have maybe like silver flake, but then the silver flake would be on top of a champagne base coat, or a Shoreline Gold base coat, which could be fine. I don't know. Or you could just do candy color and some sort of burst on top of it. Guess you could. Oh, is Adam in here? Can only imagine Namfek nowadays. I got the first time we did NAMM in 2016, both Perry and I we were just fucked up for a month after he got sick like that Monday or Tuesday, or like the day before we left or something to go back. And I did maybe just like a couple days, maybe, or soon after I got home. But like I was not right for like a month. You're not right ever, probably. But in that regard, since then I super into hand sanitizers, and try not to eat things with my hands. I use my feet, but like use utensils and stuff that have been sealed. I was talking about this with David when we were at the shop yesterday. One thing that I wish kind of stayed away from the whole COVID experience, which is, I mean, it's still a thing. Shaking hands. I don't want to do it. I'm sorry, I don't. And it's kind of, people I think have kind of forgotten about that. Also, like, why are salad bars still a thing? Salad bars, buffets. I mean, like, can we not, from what we've learned about like what we spew out of our heads, why do we do that anyway? That's a whole other thing. But yeah, so I'm gonna be real careful. Continue to be real careful about stuff as best as I possibly can. So. No, other than I need to get mock-ups together. I agree. Shep, good morning to you. Tacos with utensils. Well, like I said, try to. It's the birthday boy. We've got 2 birthdays in here in 2 different countries. We've got Pasquale, who's got a birthday today. We've got Neil, who's over in the UK. He's like way up north by Scotland. You're in New Mexico, nowhere near Scotland, but you're in the land of enchantment. That's right. I'll say it again. The land of enchantment. If you don't believe me that New Mexico is the land of enchantment, well, then you're not reading their license plates, because they tell you that it's the land of enchantment. Or at least it did. Fun fact about New Mexico, my hair always looks great. It's another reason to enjoy New Mexico. Yeah. So yeah, as far as the NAMM thing goes, I think I've kind of covered that as much as possible. Well, been fortunate enough to have some people in with other companies that are nice enough to hang up a couple of Sullys, so that's cool. So like you'll see some Sullys where you see these guys. You might even, I don't know, I gotta check in. You might maybe see with these folks over here. Although now I think about it, I don't know that I have enough extra guitars. I know there's gonna be one at the Rev booth. At least that's my understanding. Soldano, the boutique amps distribution, they'll have, I think, 3. So yeah. Ooh, good question. The 622 runs are long overdue. Yeah, I would like to. I was thinking about this during the week, because one thing that's happened throughout this year, or 2022, 6/2022, is that the 622 line kind of grew a little bit. In that, I finally got around to making a Floyd version, and I got around to doing a no pickguard version. Now, I don't know that that's going to be a thing. I don't know that it's not though. That's the thing. So I would say, and so I'm kind of thinking about what I want to do with the 622s. Like, what I mean specific, like the one thing that I like about the way that we make them is we have a little bit of a system in that we make the bodies. There are no construction changes, and so I can make a stack of I can make a bunch of 5 of them, and I don't have to worry about, well, this person wanted hum single single and this person wanted uh, dual hums, or what I'm saying. I don't have to worry about that until it's time to make pick guards because they all have a swimming pool cavity. And so, but I have been thinking, is do I, if I want to make, I'm basically just kind of considering opening up some options as far as that goes, just because we might have somebody that we might have the majority of the batch sold out, and then maybe somebody just, well, I really want one with the Floyd, and this is a non-Floyd run, so I'm gonna have to wait for a Floyd run, and then who knows, I may forget about it and I'll spend that money elsewhere, and blah 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 blah. So I'm trying to think about if we open up those options. Now, the thing is, though, if we do open up options for the 622s in one specific batch, like without having to do like, this is just going to be, with the 2-point trim, which is, or this is just going to be just a Floyd and that sort of thing. If I've got to do that, that is extra time, and that is going to have to be accounted for somewhere, specifically in the cost. So that could be like, if we're doing, if the base 622 is a 2-point trim, like the one that, with the non-locking, if somebody wants the Floyd version, maybe that is just, that's just an additional cost. The other thing that I was thinking of, and when I say additional, it's not much. It's just a little thing. Also kind of considering offering a non-reverse headstock. That is going to fuck me up. I will tell you 100% that will, because I am used to headstock orientations, or 6-in-line headstock orientations. I'm used to them being reversed. So making sure I'm running the right file, like that will be something that's really going to have to be careful. Why don't you just pay attention? Were it that easy? So that it's something that I'm considering, but it's also one of those things that, with all that we've got planned and going on at this moment, it's kind of a lot to manage, sort of. But I do want to, we do need to get some 622 runs going, because like I think we had like one or maybe 2 official batches last year. And then like I made the Floyd ones. I just made one and then, made it available for people to order. And we made them actually like onesie twosie. And that was the other thing. Like, do we just make 622s available to be just join the custom order kind of thing? If we do that, then their pricing will be in line with the customs. And it's not to say that they weren't already. They were a little bit lower. So those are all of my thoughts about the 622s. I don't necessarily have answers to them yet, but I do want to. We are overdue for some batches. Nope, I do not. The 624 is a bolt-on guitar. Actually, like as far as neck throughs go, that was one thing that I spent a fair amount, actually most of the time, between Christmas and New Year, is working on neck through CNC operations. a lot of maybe not a lot of companies are. I mean, I don't know. I think we're used to Jacksons all being neck throughs because they set themselves up for it real early. Um, I've made them. They've always been something that requires a lot of additional attention, and quite frankly, they're real. Thankfully, I've kind of gotten around this somewhat, but they've been very unsafe for me to make. And I don't really want to risk my safety for someone to have a guitar anymore, at least without it costing a shitload more money, quite frankly. So, and that I know that that I don't want that to come across as like, oh, I'll do it, but it's gonna fucking cost you, because that's not where I'm coming from. But it is very outside of the way we make guitars. It requires different fixturing. It requires a lot of different processes depending on your particular flavor. At this point, there may be a time when we will make it an option for certain models. Maybe. Because it requires a lot of additional setup and stuff like that. Neck throughs have always been more expensive when we make them, but they've also always taken way more time just because of the amount of, like, I have to get into that. Okay, this is what we're going to make. These are the things I've got to think about. This is the geometry I've got to concentrate on. And is this going to work? And like, shit, this. And so there had been some problems, some ghosts in the literal machine that we finally came up with a workaround for. And certain things, like doing headstock shapes and that sort of thing on the machine, which is something that's dangerous the way that we do it, even with set necks, but it's a lot less dangerous with set necks because, and what I'm getting at, this specific thing is, okay, so imagine this were a neck through. Imagine this were one long solid piece of maple. It's not. And let's say that I've got the neck blank cut and I need to cut the headstock shape. So the way that it had been done in the past is I have to take this neck through blank. So I've got to hold it, and certain, and this is, at this state, it's much larger, it's rectangular, and it's much longer. So I've got to put this on a bandsaw and cut off as much material around the headstock to make it to where it's more easy to route. And it's a lot of balancing, and it's a lot of like, I'm holding, this, so we're going this way. This is on the bandsaw. So I'm cutting like this part here, and there's a lot of different angles I have to take to make this work. And then a headstock template goes on the face. And then this goes face down on a table like this. And now all of this is sticking way the hell out there. And if it's maple, it's real heavy. It's only like a couple pounds. Yes. Unless you're trying to hold one section in one position and keep this from moving. And then you have to move this around a spinny bit of death in a manner that allows it to happen without blowing out. A reverse Raven headstock is safer for me to make because it's where the hook is as it relates to where it is on the table than a non-reverse headstock. A non-reverse headstock, I don't like making them on the router table, even if it's a bolt-on, just because of where the hook is and how it has to be introduced into the router. I don't know. I'm always cognizant of the fact that this thing can cause a lot of damage to me, and I don't want to do that. And quite frankly, it's not worth it. So all of that to say, that has been a motivator. Those things have been a motivator for me to come up with a neck through process that isn't unsafe and that isn't something that requires me to put a whole ton of additional thought into. I don't know that I'm ever going to get around that hurdle, but the safer part is happening. So I made some comments, and I talked about this last time, I guess, but I made some comments, and they're all but one are at the point to where, I just got to make the fretboards. So we worked out ways to, we cut the headstock shape on the machine. We cut the back of the headstock, all of the main operations, are done on the machine. So that's good. And as I'm kind of going through this process, like I know that I've got one. Yeah, I know that I have one like flame roasted maple neck through blank that's been glued up and it's been sitting for, I don't know, 6-8 months. It was just because I was at a wood supplier and I bought a bunch of roasted maple, and there were a couple of boards that they weren't long enough for me to get multiple necks, like 3 neck blanks. Look out! 3 neck blanks out of, but I could get like a one like set or bolt-on neck blank and like a neck through blank out of it. So I've had this and it's sitting glued up. And then the other thing, like with neck throughs, and like nobody's watching, but or maybe people are, I don't know. The other thing with this process is like, so if somebody wanted in this case, a neck through 624, in theory, it would have to, well, let's just say, the neck throughs that I'm making on, at the moment, they don't have a neck angle. And now I know that there is, neck angles are one of the things that tends to throw people a little bit. Just from my experience, and it's kind of one of those great unknowns, and it doesn't need to be. It's really just geometry. It's how tall is the bridge, and I'm really boiling this down. How tall is the bridge, and how tall is the fretboard? How tall are your strings? Are all of those things on the same plane? In other words, is the bridge way taller than where your strings are? So, like, if you were to not have, like, if I put a tunematic, or even actually just a surface mount, if I put a taller bridge than a recessed Floyd, then the strings would go, let's just exaggerate it. Let's just put, if the bridge were as tall as my hand, imagine the height of the strings as they leave this point. It's, your action is going to be here. It's going to be an unplayable thing. So if you tilt this back so that this point is taller and you have this pitch that goes, woo, so the strings go on that angle and they join up here. Doing that on the machine is, it's an additional process that I have some ideas on how I would have to do it, but the ability to mount them back on a fixture with holes that now have an angle cut into them, it's not, it's not something I've got sorted out. So like if somebody, and like this would be something that I would do for a repeat custom client. If I happen to have this stuff on hand, because I really don't want to make them unless I do, you know what I mean? Like I want to make it, I want to make them available when I feel like making them. I don't want to make it an option that people can order. Why not? I don't know. I just don't right now because I'm too fresh into this process. Even though, like, one of the some of the first few guitars that I made were neck throughs. But it's this thing. So, like, if we can get it closer to a process, then maybe I can consider it. But there are some things. So, like a Concorde, this has an arched top to it, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I know how we cut this arc, and if you're making a neck through, and we're at this point of like, okay, so then where do we we put the top, like, put a top on, like, do we like arch the top and then drop it on top of a flat surface? And it's just like, that's probably how it would have to go, which is like, I don't like doing it that way. But yes, like certain things that have like carved tops to them, or things that aren't a flat surface, are things that I would not want to do on a neck through. So I'm like, and I don't really want to do them to begin with, unless, again, I do. But that was a whole long, really, really, really long-winded answer. But I hope it was somewhat cohesive. Let's see. Yep. Yes, yes, yes. No problem. And it may, and for some people that they may kind of build all of their processes. I'm sorry, process. No, process. We'll go with that. They may build all of them around that. So they may have cool jigs and fixtures and stuff, like, there is a real old Sully's Guitar Garage video series that's still on there. I think it might not be, but where I'm making a neck through old style Raven. It might not be there anymore, but I do know that I didn't talk much through it. I just had like a GoPro mounted on my chest, and we just kind of went for it. Yeah, so it may not be, difficult for, fixturing is really the key. And, I've seen how Grover has done it at his old place. And all of that stuff makes sense. He's got vacuum fixtures and vices and things like that. And that makes sense to do it that way. But like, I don't have vacuum fixtures. Well, you can make them. Yes, I could. But like, when? And is the juice worth the squeeze? No. Because like, okay, so you see, this is a set neck guitar. Look at this neck joint. It's lovely. I understand that there's a flat here, but your hand doesn't feel it. So, that is one thing that, and then there's like I want one long piece of wood and the sound of resonate there. No, you don't. You just think you do. It's like, what are you playing through? One of those on like the red channel? Okay. Doesn't matter. So, yeah. That's why neck throughs are more pricey. Yeah, generally speaking, when I've made them, it's always been like, this is going to cost more and it's going to take forever. And I'm sorry going in, but if you really want it, I'll. But the nice thing is that worked all through last year on how to do this. Not every day, but figuring out this last weird little idiosyncrasy in the controller of my machine opened that door. So that's good, and it also helps me with some other non-neck through related functions, which is like cutting headstocks on set necks and bolt-ons. Because like, I'm still, up until this point, and probably for a little while, I'm still doing that stuff by hand and using templates. So I want to get away from doing that, just because safety consistency and ease as it relates to binding. That's a whole other thing. We got to go. I hope you have a lovely day. And thanks for watching. Buy a Sully guitar. It'll make you 10 times more good looking.